Audience exclusive.
Hello, welcome to Beautiful Subconscious. I'm your host, Shell Marie. I hope you are fabulous. Today's episode, we are going to be discussing kinesiology calling us out. Life mirrors your subconscious. That can be the most confronting thing when we're seeing things in our world, areas of our lives that aren't necessarily how we pinned it up on our vision board. And you're then telling us that it's me that created this. Why are you coming at me like that? So I get it. But when we start to really shift into the face of, I created that, I have the power to change. I create, I have the power to change. I create, I have the power to change. All of a sudden, what we feel disempowered in becomes completely empowered. And so today's episode, that's what we're going to be discussing. You are the mirror to everything you experience. Everything is relational. Everything is relational. So the way that you show up in your intimate relationships with how you commit can be the same way on some level, whether it's like attract like or the opposites in polarities, that can be very mirroring to the way that you show up to yourself and for yourself. The same with your money, how you handle your money, that number in your bank account is a direct relation of how you perceive yourself in your subconscious and very much tied into what you believe you are worth and what you believe that you are capable of. Everything is relational. And so, as we're moving through facets of our lives, we may be completely neutral and open and centered to some areas of our lives, say how we show up in our friendships and our social groups. I love interacting. I love connecting with people, and I really feel like I can create good rapport with people. But then in other areas, to myself, why am I so harsh? Like, why am I so harsh with myself? Or even like with work, it's like, okay, I can feel so driven in areas, but why do I hold myself back in doubt in other areas? And so we can always understand what your external world is showcasing is a direct reflection of what's going on in our internal world. And you have the power to change it. That's the most beautiful thing. So the more you do this work, the more the next level of fear will present. So fear will always be there. It's just your relationship to fear. Stress will always be there. It's how you utilize it. Your own internal thoughts will show up and maybe different levels of it, but it's that connected and knowingness to the fact that, oh, here is another facet to it or the next level of it. I remembered from evidence, I've moved through the previous levels of this and gained so much growth, so much confidence, so much empowerment. I'm going to do that for this next one. So it's just keeping your eye on those prizes. That's the beauty of this work. Relationships, I find, can be one of the most trickiest things because it's confronting. Like, yes, you might sign up to this style of living of self-awareness and self-exploration, but our intimate relationships are on 24/7. With ourselves, we can be like, you know what, I'm just going to just unplug for today and just binge watch some Kardashians, which I love. I freaking love. And I say that proudly, or I'm going to, just chill for a second. But your relationships will mirror the parts of you that you don't necessarily want to look at. And more often in times that you don't necessarily want to look at them then. It's just like, don't reflect and trigger me right now. I'm chilling, or I wasn't ready for that. And so it's just knowing that when those things come up, yes, they're uncomfortable. Yes, they can blindside you sometimes, but they're there in service of you. Blah, freaking blah sometimes too with that. It's just like they're in service of you. So you're in this constant state of like, get it, but sometimes it takes that extra bit of effort just to own that. And that's just the truth of the matter sometimes. So commitment for me is a part that I'm becoming more aware that I want to continue to work on. I'm noticing areas of my world that I'm the most committed person in some areas of my life. And I can focus on that because they come natural to me. They can come easy to me. I can get up and do my meditations and my yoga most mornings. I can commit to that quite well. I can be active quite easily. That to me is a bit more easier than, say, constantly showing up and feeling into the fear and doing it anyway. Sometimes I need to brace myself and work a little more, committing to myself that even though I fear failure, committing to myself to do the harder things. And then sometimes I notice my patterning can be, or had been, wait till I will put myself in my own energetic corner where it would build up. And then I'm like, I'm doing it, I'm doing it. And then I'll just catapult my way forward. And then the same level of patterning and commitment can show up in other areas of my life. Commitment in relationships, I've noticed, is a thing that I'm like, oh, this is interesting. Maybe there's some areas of growth here too, because I love to get intimate. I love to connect on a deeper level. I love that. However, I notice that there's some distortion and areas of growth in, do we hold on because we've seen areas where things were given up on and we're holding on through things that we're, in inverted commas, settling for? Or is this showing up for me in levels of like, hey, this is part of this is the season that this is in. This is a harder time in service of you. And so I find that is becoming more aware for me at this point in my world where commitment can be a bit distorted on what am I committing for the right reasons? Am I really aware of what I'm committing to? And is this on the level of what is aligned to my self-worth? And can I allow myself to be committed to the vulnerability of riding those waves? So there's so many facets to these areas that show up in our world. And the same thing goes with money. Like if you're experiencing a threshold that you get to and you're like, this is as much as I can make, and then something will happen and I'll lose a bit, or I just can't go beyond that. That's on your subconscious thinking that this is the threshold that you're allowing yourself to feel. Anything beyond that, the stress is deemed more. And that could come from, hey, I don't want to be more successful than my family, or if I have more finances, it's just going to go to more things. Like the more I make, the more it's got other things I need to pay for, or people I need to take care of. And that's a lot of responsibility. And then I'm going to I could let people down, so then I don't want to. And then so you bring yourself back to that threshold that you've learned to manage. And so it's understanding that if you're hitting that particular space, that is a reflection of what's going on in your subconscious. There is something there that might not be in an alignment, and there's an opportunity to explore here. The same with work. That could be the same repeated unfulfillment in different jobs. You could change jobs and be like, this is the one, this is it. I can feel it. I feel really great for it. And we have all experienced from that space where it's like, freak, it's the same shit. Like I'm feeling unfulfilled again. Like, is this going to be all my life? Am I really going to do this till I retire? And like my soul on some level is feeling sucked the life out of. And that's your subconscious, like indicating you're settling, you're allowing yourself just to endure less than what you deserve. Why are you doing that? Why are you doing that? Yes, it's painful. It's painful so you act. It's painful so you move. And I feel pain in so many ways every day because I'm like, you can do more, Michelle. And look, I'm not saying that in a way that I'm not doing enough or I'm not enough, but there's areas of my world that I know that I'm like consciously like, oh, I'm like battling between that. Like it's safe and comfortable, but you deserve more and you can do more. It's safe and comfortable. You deserve more and do more. So there's always that there. And it's finding that common ground of seeing it of what it is and going for that greater picture of like, if this is what I want for me, if this is what I want for my family, if this is how I see my future, then that space of uncomfortability is where I need to get myself used to, and just leaning into that. It's a lot to be accountable for sometimes. And it can be like, I just want to switch off for a second. And you've got the right to do that. Not every day do you need to be in inverted commas doing the work. Not every day do you feel like you need to be inquiring about why am I behaving this way? Or what did that mean? It's just like, give yourself some grace that not everything needs to have this deeper meaning explored. Life is simply showing you what might be playing out in your subconscious. It's giving you opportunities of deciding and committing into something more congruent to what you want. And it'll always present the actions that you deserve to take. But then it'll also simultaneously show you the things that you need to release and neutralize in order for you to go in the direction that you're aligned to. So those blocks, they're there in service of you to lift them up and release. That relationship and those looping cycles are opportunities of you saying like, hey, I want that connected relationship with my soulmate. All right, so I'm going to show you all the things of that you've settled for and what you've allowed in your world so you can see what you need to shift and release in order for you to allow the space and the congruency of what it is that you actually want. That's the thing, right? The things that we want, we can call out and claim, but simultaneously it may show you all the things that you've settled for in order to alleviate them. So just be aware of that spiritual side note. So that's it. Kinesiology calls you out. Life will always mirror you. So I think what will really help is allowing yourself to journal. All right, this is what I'm seeing in my external world. This is what I want. This is what I'm seeing. This is what I want. And then in that in between, you allow yourself to call forward, what is it that I need to say, do, or be in order to align to what I want? And you'll see all the things that you don't want and then just get really, really clear on what you're willing to do and commit to yourself in order for you to call in what you want. I find it just really therapeutic journaling, just getting it out of the kerfuffle of my thoughts down on page. And hey, it doesn't even need to be linear on the page. Sometimes I just write for 5 minutes straight and my gosh, some of the things that come out, I'm just like, this is like mental diarrhea, but it's out, it's on the page, I'm clear, everything that feels way lighter, and then I can allow some space forward to what I want. I hope that's helped. That's it for me today. Hit me with a DM how you found this episode. And again, if you're interested in kinesiology, you're wondering more and more like, hey, there's areas of my space in my world that I know that I could work towards, just reach out. You owe it to yourself to explore what your subconscious is always leaving you little love notes to address. My initial consult and session is a limited offer. Jump on my website, shellmarie.com, or hit me through Insta and let's get it going. All the best to you, and I can't wait till next week.